What is going on, my friends? I am your boy Sully, and today I am back with another episode of Nerdy Rants. And if you can't tell by the title, this episode is just going to be talking about who, in my own personal opinion, was the best person who's ever played the Joker, the best Joker character, and just overall the best individual Joker out of all of the people who have played them. So, as you can see from the picture to one of my sides, I'm not sure which one, there have been 5 different incarnations of the Joker. Like 5 main ones anyway, the ones that are most notable in terms of Batman's history on screen, like whether it be television, TV show, video game, movie, however you want to see it. These are the main incarnations. One of them hasn't even happened yet. He's like been cast as him. We've seen him in trailers, and that is Jared Leto's version. But you can also see that these are very different characters in themselves. They all look very different. They're all supposed to play character under one name, but they are all very, very different characters. They are all called the Joker, but they are all very different in their own right. One of them, the first one, was the Clown. He was the most animated version of the Joker that we have ever seen. This was in the 1960s when Adam West was the Batman, and it was played by Cesar Romero. As you can see just from the picture, you can tell he's a bit of a mental case, but he was during the camp period of Batman when it first was on the screen. People were first being introduced to it as a live action thing as opposed to just comic books, before DC took its dark turn and ended up like being at the stage it's at today. So Cesar Romero, in my opinion, was an amazing Joker. He didn't play it for a ridiculous amount of time. He did play it in one movie and the TV series, as I said, during the 60s. But he wasn't a bad Joker in any right. He fit the early comic book versions of the Joker. He played the character really, really well. And with the whole vibe that show and the movie eventually gave off, he was the perfect fit for that Joker. So Cesar Romero definitely deserves to be counted as one of the main individuals who has done so well as the Joker. And then the next incarnation of the Joker was the gangster version, played by Jack Nicholson in 1989, I believe it was, when it was Michael Keaton as Batman. And that was before Joel Schumacher came along and nearly destroyed the whole Batman franchise. But Jack Nicholson's Joker was a mixture of clown, a mixture of anarchy. He was sort of a mixture of all of the different versions you're seeing listed next to me. And he fit the character so well. His acting style, we'd seen him in different movies where he'd been a complete and utter psychopath, and he just fit the character so well. He played the character so well, and he honestly deserved to be that character for when, especially during that time when Batman was at that stage in its time frame, because all of these Jokers come from different universes, different carnations, as I said at the start of the video. So they are all very different, as I've said multiple times by this stage. And then you have the most controversial of the Jokers, a lot of people's favourites, that is Heath Ledger. He played the anarchist Joker, who was just there to fuck Gotham up, basically. He wanted to bring anarchy. He talked about it a lot in the movie, and in my own personal opinion, yes, he did do an amazing job. Heath Ledger did an amazing job playing that character. He won an Oscar for it. But as harsh as it may seem, as harsh as it is for me to say, I honestly don't think he would have won an Oscar had he not passed away before the film's initial release, or whenever it was he passed away. I honestly don't. The reason he got the Oscar for it was because he died, effectively. He won a posthumous Oscar for his acting in the movie, but he hasn't been the best in terms of people who've played the Joker. He was on another level to everyone else in that movie, everyone else from recent franchises of Batman, but he was no way in any shape or form the best incarnation of the Joker by any means. Yes, that movie was amazing. Look at the ratings for it online, reviews, comparisons to the comic books. He did play the anarchist version of this character the best that he could, and he did an amazing job of it, like I said. But in all honesty, I don't think he deserved the credit, the recognition. Like, it's such a dick move for me to come out and say it's just because he died. But this character, this movie, the Christopher Nolan franchise, which was insanely good, would not have garnered as much fame as it did if Heath Ledger hadn't have died, because they had Batman Begins 3 years, was it like 3 years before that, but 3 years before The Dark Knight was released, and that didn't get enough, or that didn't get a lot of recognition. It didn't, like, not a lot came out of that first movie. And then The Dark Knight comes along, it's advertised well, it gets out there like quite a lot, and then Heath Ledger dies. One of the main actors in this movie dies. The whole idea of the Joker being back in the first place, like, garnered a lot of attention for the film. It garnered a lot of people wanting to immediately go and watch it, because it's a character we hadn't seen since 1989. It had been nearly 20 years since we'd seen someone play this character on the big screen in a movie, and it did, like, boost it in some sense, but it was elevated to that next level where everyone sees it now as an upper echelon movie, an upper echelon incarnation of the Joker, because he died. And that is a fact. It's a brutal fact, but it is true. Honestly, he wouldn't have been seen as this, like, martyr for comic bookdom had he not died. Like, honestly, honest to God, he did an amazing job, like, amazing job. It was one of his best acting, like, pieces he'd ever done in his long-running career. But yeah, I don't want to delve into it too much, because I feel I'd just be insulting his name and his memory, because he did do such an outstanding job as this character. But in my own honest personal opinion, he wasn't the best Joker that we have ever seen. He wasn't the, like, ultimate incarnation, and he just garnered too much from it. He received too much from it because he died. And yes, it's harsh, but I apologize if anyone is offended by that, but it is true, it is a fact. Had he not died after this movie's release, I doubt he would have won an Oscar. I doubt the movie would have garnered as much attention as it did, or his version of the Joker would not be as big and as, like, well known predominantly as everyone's favorite Joker now. And then the next big screen version we will be seeing is Jared Leto's psychopath version. We haven't seen a lot of him, like I said. He does seem to fit this version of the character really well. From what we've seen in the trailers, he seems to be looking like he's doing an amazing job. His character's look overall, pardon me, is very, very different to any of the Jokers we've seen before. He's not wearing the traditional, like, purple tux. He's not really got the same face paint that we're used to seeing. He hasn't got the massive bright red smile that we're used to seeing, and it's different. It is very different, but I personally feel that this will be a very good version of the Joker. Supposedly he's only making, like, a cameo appearance in the Suicide Squad movie, and then he'll come up in one of the future Batmans in the next few years, or potentially even have his own movie. I don't know what the plan is in terms of that, but I feel like he will do an amazing job as the psychopath version of the Joker. Like, from what we've already seen, as I said, he looks insane. He does look like a psychopath. He does look like he's going to play the character extremely well, and I think it was a very good casting choice. But a lot of people have been giving him flack for it. A lot of people think he's the wrong choice, but a lot of people said that about Heath Ledger before he played the Joker, and look at the fame he garnered from that despite his death. So people worried about Jared Leto doing a bad job, don't be, because he's not supposed to be the same as Heath Ledger. A lot of people are comparing the two, despite the fact they are very different characters, just going under the same character name. They are different incarnations of the same character, very different actors, very different acting styles, very different character qualities as well. So that comparison is a silly one to be made, if anyone has made that. And then the fifth and final Joker that we're going to talk about, he takes up most of the picture that you guys are seeing, and that is Mark Hamill. If people don't know who Mark Hamill is, go and watch a Star Wars movie, go get yourself cultured. But in my own honest opinion, this guy has been the ultimate Joker. He has been in so much. He's been in video games, TV shows, the animated movie versions of it, and he's played the Joker for the longest amount of time. I'm not sure exactly what the stats are, but I know he has played, like, the animated version of the Joker since the 90s at least, and he has been the animated version of the Joker since then. He is the ultimate Joker. Like, he fits every character perspective we've already seen. He's been a psychopath, an anarchist, a gangster, a clown, because he's played it in so many different DC universes in the animated versions of the TV shows that it is ridiculous. So I don't really want to just say loads about how amazing Mark Hamill is, because it is quite biased with me being a Star Wars fan, about how awesome I personally think the man is, let alone the characters he is playing. So I won't delve into that too much, but in my own honest opinion, like, Mark Hamill is the Joker in my eyes. He always will be the Joker. And a lot of people, a lot of younger people, fair enough, they've only seen Heath Ledger. A lot of people don't give Mark Hamill the credit he deserves for playing this character, because he hasn't really been out there advertised in live action, real life versions of these movies, these TV shows. He's the animated one, and he has been for the longest time. People don't understand that it's him who's played the Joker this whole time either. So, because a lot of people just don't watch the TV shows anymore. A lot of people don't watch the animated versions of comic books. They just wait for the movies, because we are now in like the superhero age of movies. Ever since the first Avengers was released, ever since the Dark Knight was released, like, superhero movies have blown up. Granted, Marvel have done a more insane job in terms of superhero movies than DC could ever hope to do, but there's a lot coming out in the next few years along the lines of superhero movies, and Mark Hamill, despite being the Joker for so long, hasn't garnered the credit that he deserves because of, like, the boom we've seen in comic book movies over the last few years. So yeah, that is Nerdy Rant number 2. Hope you guys have enjoyed. I've basically just talked to you about the different characters for 11 minutes straight. Told you guys straight up who my favourite one is, but I don't really want to drag this out too much. But yeah, if you guys have enjoyed, then do be sure to leave a like. As always, I've been your boy Sully. This has been Nerdy Rant 2. And if you guys want to let me know who your favourite Joker is, then do be sure to leave a comment in, like, down below. Let me guys know, or let me know who you think the Joker is. Who is the Joker in your eyes? And yeah, a new one of these may be out in a few weeks. Just have to see how it goes. But yeah, as always, like, comment, subscribe, and peace.